computer. Hello, everyone. Right now, we've got just one guest, but I'm sure we'll have a couple more before the event is over. But today is a special event for our Customer Appreciation Week, and I'm going to show you how to make a basic sugar-free ice cream custard. And with this custard, you're going to be able to make many, many other flavors. And I'm going to show you how to do 5 different flavors or explain to you how to do 5 different flavors. So there are just a few ingredients that we need. We need eggs. We're going to use 4 eggs. We need vanilla flavoring, strawberry extract, heavy whipping cream, and whatever sweetener you prefer. I use a mixture of xylitol and erythritol that I blend in my blender, so it's like powdered form. And I really like that mixture because it doesn't have an aftertaste at all. And so non-keto people who eat ice cream with these sweeteners, they cannot tell that it's not, well, they can't tell that it's a sugar-free ice cream. So that's really different. The other thing you want to be careful about with your sweeteners as a keto person is that xylitol can be deadly to dogs. Okay, so if you have dogs and you're using xylitol, be very careful with it because a small amount is very dangerous to dogs, very similar to the way chocolate is. So be aware of that. Another thing to be aware of is a lot of people like to use monk fruit, and monk fruit does not work well in things that have to be cold. It's okay to make hot drinks with monk fruit or bake with it, but for things that have to be cold, the monk fruit begins to crystallize, and it makes huge crystals, big crystals. So don't try for that. I found that out the hard way when I made some jam. It was beautiful, delicious jam, but by the time the jam cooled off, I had these huge crystals of monk fruit, and it was like chewing candy jam. That's how crystallized it was. So we're going to get started right away, and I'm going to move my camera down, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. All right, that might be a good angle. And we're going to start with 3 cups of heavy whipping cream. Now, as we do this, I'm going to be using Pampered Chef products. But look, if you have other products that work for you, you do not need to use Pampered Chef products, okay? Just use what you have. If you already have an ice cream maker, you don't have to use the Pampered Chef ice cream maker, although I love it. Okay, that's 1 cup. And that's 2. So we're going to turn the cream on to a low heat. The thing you want to be very careful about when you're making a cooked custard for your ice cream is that you never want your cream to come to a boil, right? Never want it to come to a boil. You want it to just get hot. And I mean, really, a simmer is not good. You don't even want it to get to a simmer. You just want it really, really low. Okay, so while that's starting to heat up, the next thing we're going to do is get 4 egg whites. Now, I will tell you that when you're using egg whites, you can save the whites to use for making other keto desserts. And I have some great keto cake recipes that call for a ton of egg whites. So if I was in the mood for baking cakes, this would be the perfect time to save my egg whites. But since that's not what I'm doing, I'm not going to worry about it. And you guys, you see me fooling around with this egg white. That's because I hate that little white string that's on the bottom of the egg. And that's what I'm trying to get away. So we need 4 egg yolks. I'm discarding the whites. And we're keeping 4 egg yolks. I wish I had farm-raised eggs. Let's just put this over. I'm watching my cream real closely. I got it on a very low heat. In a minute, as soon as I separate these egg yolks, I'm going to start stirring, because the last thing I want to happen is for the cream to start to scorch on the bottom. So even though it's on low, it can still begin to scorch, and we don't want that. I might even turn it down a little bit lower. No, it's good. Have you, Karen, have you ever made any ice cream yourself? Oh, we got another guest. We've got Glenda Clark. Hi, Glenda. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good. Feel free at any time to ask questions. So far, I don't know what time you got in, but so far we've got just the heavy whipping cream on the stove.
Okay.
And I just cracked 4 eggs and collected the yolks. And now I am just going to make sure this cream is not getting hot or sticking to the bottom. So you really do need a good spatula when you're making the ice cream, because you want to be able to get down to the bottom of the pan to make sure that nothing's sticking. And I will also tell you, you need a whisk. Your whisk is going to be your best friend when you're making ice cream. So I've got my 4 eggs in here, and I'm just going to whip them up really nicely. All the recipes that I've seen for making an ice cream custard say to beat them until the egg yolks are like a pale color. Well, I can tell you, I have never been able to get the egg yolks to get really pale. So I just make sure it's beat well. So have you ever made ice cream yourself, Glenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did you use a cooked custard or what?
It was pretty much ice cream, but it was when I was younger, my dad was doing most of the work, but he showed us what to put in it.
Okay.
Mhm.
All righty. So if you ever look at all the ingredients in store-bought ice cream, it's really shocking.
Mhm.
Some of those things, the chemicals, we don't know what they are.
Right.
So to the whipped egg whites, we're going to add, the recipe calls for 3/4 cup of sugar. For me, that makes the ice cream a little bit sweeter than I like. So I am using a 1/2 cup and maybe a teaspoon more. Okay. I'm going to add a teaspoon more to that, or not teaspoon, tablespoon. But I just find that 3/4 cup is just a little bit too sweet for my taste. And again, remember that I am using a sugar-free sweetener, but you can use full sugar if you want to. You use these same measurements, okay? Also, if you are if you're have to be lactose free, you can try making this with almond milk, or half whipping cream and half almond milk. You can try a mix of coconut cream and heavy whipping cream, maybe even coconut milk and almond milk. So there's some options out there, and they may not turn out exactly the way it turns out with just using the heavy whipping cream, but it'll be okay. So we're going on with making our basic vanilla custard. We want this to heat up really nicely. When it gets when it heats up enough, you'll be seeing a little bit of steam rising off the top of the cream, and also the cream will begin to cling to the sides of the pan, not like sticking, but it'll just be thicker and it'll want to cling to the sides. So one thing I want to tell you about, if you're using a sugar substitute, like the xylitol and erythritol that I'm using, it is better to blend it in your blender so that it's the consistency of powdered sugar, because they don't dissolve quite as well as regular sugar would. Okay, so that's the reason I always powder mine, so that it dissolves better in my keto desserts. All righty, this is getting there. And I think the secret to making good ice cream is patience, because you want to be patient enough to have your cream gradually warm up, because if it gets too hot, your cream will break. And I don't know if you've ever seen that happen before, but it's happened to me, like when I have been making cream sauces, and I put in the cream, and one minute I got this creamy deliciousness, and the next minute it looks like I just have fat and globs. So you definitely don't want that for your ice cream. So just take your time and let it heat up. So today I am going to prepare strawberry ice cream, right? So strawberries are one of the lower carb fruits. And I see we have someone else that just joined us. Shanita, hey, how you doing? Yeah, strawberries are one of the lower carb fruits. Any of the berries are great additions to your keto ice cream. So I saw a recipe that really got my attention, and they roasted the strawberries. Okay, so the purpose of roasting the strawberry is to evaporate some of the water that's in the strawberry, so it intensifies the strawberry flavor, the sweetness of the strawberries. But not only did they recommend roasting it, but they also recommended drizzling it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. So that's what I did. I cooked the strawberries. I mean, their strawberries are in the oven right now roasting. I'm going to take them out in a minute because I'm sure they're ready. And you're not trying to dry them out. They're not going to look like dehydrated strawberries. They're just going to be reduced in fluid. Okay, so the sugars that are in there will be more concentrated. And the balsamic vinegar, now you're not dousing it in balsamic vinegar. You're putting in just enough to like coat the strawberries. All right, so, okay, I actually overdid these because it looks like one or two are actually burned. We're gonna have to check that out. I definitely left it in there too long. So let me let you see what it looks like. So they're not gonna be like flat strawberries, but you're gonna be able to see. Can you see that? Now I got two of them that look a little bit brown, that one in the middle and the one over here. So we're gonna see how that works out, but we're gonna let that cool off right there. And we're gonna mash that and add strawberries along with all the little liquid that came off of it. Ooh. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
But you can't see me.
Right. It looks like you have a cover page on here.
Okay, let me try to figure out what I can do about this. I'm gonna take my cream off because what the problem is, my phone is needs to be charged. And it's my phone that's the actual camera. Yeah. So let me grab it. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back in business. All righty. Yeah, so as I was saying, when we close the strawberries off, I'm going to be mashing that and putting it in with all the little juices that came out of the strawberry. All right, my cream is ready. And for right now, I'm taking it off the heat, but I want you to see what I mean about it's starting to cling to the sides. See that? around here, it's definitely time to take it off. Okay, so this is the part of ice cream making that scares people. It's called tempering the eggs. Because if we just dump the eggs in here, the eggs and sugar, just the way they are right now, we're gonna have scrambled eggs. And that is not what we want. So in order to prevent the eggs from scrambling while also cooking them, we are going to take some of the hot milk and add it to our eggs and sweetener mixture until we can bring the eggs up to temperature. And once we have it up to temperature, we're going to add it to the cream. All right, any questions about that? Okay, so here's the thing about tempering the eggs. It is really good if you have somebody helping you, because one hand has to add the cream and one hand has to do the stirring. So in the beginning, you are going to want to add just little drops at a time. You see that? Just little drops, incorporate it. Little drops, incorporate it. The warmer your cream is, the slower you want to do this. So my cream is pretty warm here. So I'm going to go really, really slow to bring the eggs up to temperature. Just be patient with this step. You can't go too slow, but if you go too fast, you can't undo it. So just patiently add your cream mixture. Shanita, have you ever made your own homemade ice cream before?
No.
Okay. So we're all doing this together. Yeah, guys, I think I let my cream get too warm first, I think. It's gonna take me a long time to get all this in. So what is your favorite ice cream flavor? I know some of you answered on the page in the group about your favorite ice cream flavor. What is yours? Just yell out.
Pralines and cream and black walnut.
Oh, I never had black walnut flavored ice cream.
It's Baskin and Robbins used to sell it a long time ago. I don't know if they still do, but I used to always get the black walnut whenever I went to Baskin and Robbins.
Okay.
It's
Well,
good.
my favorite has been butter pecan for ages until
Oh, now that sound good.
I think that's mine too,
Okay, who said that?
Glenda.
Glenda, yours is butter pecan?
Yes.
All right. We got somebody else. I can't. Donna. Thank you for coming, girl.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I wanted to watch you make ice cream.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you made it. So look, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Probably pralines and cream.
Okay, she said the same thing. So what makes pralines and cream different from butter pecan? Is it walnuts and praline or pecans? I thought it was pecans.
It's
It's
pecans.
the pralines.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, you actually make pralines and put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think my eggs are brought up to temperature. Famous last words, right? Guys, I have never messed up in this step, but it could happen today because this cream is really hot, but I'm gonna slowly add it. I have turned off my, the heat is still on the eye, but the heat is turned off. Okay. I'm gonna bring you guys in close so you can see it. It doesn't look as if it's scrambled eggs, but bring it in closer so that you can see.
Uh-oh.
Well, I told you already that I broke my thing. Hold on for just a second. Just as I was setting up for this, I broke my camera holder.
Oh no.
If it's not one thing, guys, it's another.
Always.
And so I knew that I had to be gentle when I was moving it, but this is real life in the kitchen.
Yep.
Okay, let's turn our camera back on. Here we go. All right, so now you can see really good. Now I'm going to turn the heat back on very low. And the goal this time is for us to cook the egg without scrambling it. Okay, we really don't want to eat raw egg yolks. It's probably safe enough, but I'm not a risk taker. So when you turn up the heat, when you put it back on the heat, it just needs to be on there long enough for steam to begin to come off the top. Doesn't have to be rolling off steam, but just enough. And that lets us know that the eggs are cooked. Another thing that's going to make your ice cream super duper creamy is if you let this go very low until it begins to thicken. It will thicken enough to coat the back of a metal spoon. And when it coats the back of a metal spoon and you can run your finger down and it leaves a streak on the back of the spoon without the liquid closing in over it, that's when you know your custard is ready. Okay, your custard will be ready. And usually, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a little foaminess on the top of the cream. Can you see that? It's just a little bit of foam.
Yes.
That is when that starts happening and it covers the whole surface. Like if you stop stirring and that foam covers the entire surface of your ice cream, you're pretty much where you need to be. Okay, but I still like to do the metal spoon test, so we're gonna try that. And a lot of times when I'm at this point and I do the metal spoon test, my custard will pass that test. So we're gonna see. But I'm not seeing steam coming off the top yet, so let's wait a little bit. I don't see anything coming off, and it only has to be the barest amount of steam. It doesn't have to be, you can see it from across the room. Probably when I see it, you won't be able to see it because it won't be that much. But that's when you know your eggs are done. All right. So this that I've just shown you is the basic custard that all ice cream flavors start with. Okay, or I shouldn't say all, because butter pecan doesn't start this way, but almost all ice creams. The only thing we still have to add, and there's my steam coming off the top. Put my spoon in, and you see that it didn't close back up. Everybody see that? Okay, that's evidence that the cream custard is ready. So now we can take it off the heat. We are going to add, at this point, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, because all ice creams, no matter what flavor, just like cakes, they start with vanilla extract as a flavoring. And then on top of that, we're going to add strawberry extract. And for strawberry ice cream, you really, really, really want strawberry extract. So. And because I didn't write down the recipe, guys, I don't know how much strawberry extract I need. I didn't bring my recipe out here. I accidentally just dropped it in there without putting it in a spoon, but I was going to put a teaspoon in, and I think that was probably a teaspoon. I'll taste it at the end and see if it tastes right. Okay, so like I said, this is the basic recipe before the strawberry extract, but to every basic recipe of ice cream, you need to add a little bit of salt. believe it or not, the salt is going to help bring out the flavor. And maybe an 1/8 teaspoon of salt is about all you need. Right. Okay, so now comes the part where we want to cool our custard down. We want to cool it way down before we put it in the freezer, or excuse me, in the refrigerator, because your custard needs to cool off before you add it to your ice cream maker. All right, so let me get my ice bath. Usually my husband is here to be my assistant when I have a show and I need to make an ice bath or something, but he had to take my son to work today. So I have to do that single-handedly, and it's going to take me just a minute. All right. So I've got a bowl. This is my Pampered Chef classic batter bowl, and I'm putting it inside another huge bowl. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add ice around it and then water. So I got some ice. Guys, I made a batch of chocolate ice cream yesterday because I wanted to show you what the finished ice cream looked like. And when I was doing it, I got chocolate all over my bag of ice. So my bag is not dirty. It's just that I got chocolate on the outside.
Is that what Staley was eating last night?
Yes, that's right.
It looked really good.
It is good. Donna, you could come over. Who else is Donna and Karen? You guys live right around the corner almost.
Yeah.
Come on over here and get you some ice cream.
Yeah, I need to so I can taste it. It looked so good and creamy last night.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually got some ice in my bowl. We don't want that. So I'm gonna get a paper towel and get that ice water out of there because we don't want to water down our ice cream. I'm knocking everything down as I move around here. And I meant to get one of my tall people to reach up and get this thing out the cabinet for me. I don't know how I'm gonna get it down. But you're gonna see in a minute me make an effort to get it. Oh, they didn't put it up real high. Great. All right. So this is my strainer. And I want you to see this better. How can we do this without having another accident? Okay. So I got my strainer down in here. I haven't added the water to the water bath yet, but what I'm going to do is strain the ice cream. Now, what this is going to do is catch any egg that actually got cooked accidentally down here. And I'll tell you what else happens. When you get your egg whites and you separate the yolk from it, it's hard to get all that egg white off. So there'll be a little bit of egg white that will find its way in there. And if it does, that is definitely going to cook in the heat and you would have it left down the bottom. And so this looks pretty good. This is just foaminess, bubbles. I don't see any cooked eggs in there. So we're happy. That's going in the sink. Now I need to add my water. All around. So this, you want this to cool down enough so that when you put a drop on your wrist, it feels cool. It's not hot. It feels a little bit cooler than body temperature. So it usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes of just stirring. And you want to constantly stir because now that you've heated your custard, what's going to happen is as it cools, it'll form a skin on the top. And you don't want that. So you're going to keep stirring, and the stirring is going to help it cool down quicker in the ice bath. All right. So if I had not put that strawberry extract in here, this would be ready to go vanilla ice cream. Okay. So this is the first flavor, straight vanilla. Without the strawberry extract, you've got vanilla ice cream. Now, if we wanted chocolate ice cream, what we would have done is once the cream was put in, we would add a third cup of Hershey's milk chocolate, a third cup of Hershey's chocolate powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of instant coffee grounds. All right. The coffee brings out the flavor of the chocolate so much. It's amazing. But you don't want to lie. You only want 1/4 teaspoon. And you add that and make sure your chocolate dissolves. The chocolate it's very difficult to dissolve. So you got to keep stirring it while it's on the stove. And then when you get your chocolate dissolved, you're going to add it to the eggs. You're going to temper it just like we did. I made chocolate almond. So you take your chocolate ice cream and you get some chopped almonds and just put it in a dry frying pan on top of your stove over low heat and just let it toast. You're going to move it around quite a bit because it goes from toasted to burned in like a heartbeat. But 5 to 8 minutes, I would think, would be enough to toast your almonds, and you can taste it. So if you're not sure if your almonds are ready, keep some raw almonds aside, taste your raw almonds, and then as the almonds toast, you will notice a huge difference in the taste. And when you notice that difference, you will know your almonds are ready. For me, usually there's some really fine almond dust at the bottom of the pan, and that turns really brown. By the time when that turns really brown, the whole bigger pieces are toasted enough. So that's another key. So to make the chocolate almond, when your cream is already in the ice cream maker and you're down to the last 5 minutes of churning, you add the almonds. Okay, so now we got 3 flavors: regular vanilla, strawberry, which we're making now, and the chocolate. Okay, with regular vanilla, you can crush up your favorite sugar-free cookie, or if you're not doing keto, you crush up some almonds or chocolate chips, or you can dice some Snickers, and just like with the almonds, add it in on the last 5 minutes of your ice cream churning. And once your ice cream has finished churning, it's going to be soft serve consistency. Depending on the temperature inside your house and outside, depends on how soft the ice cream is. When I was making ice cream in the winter, I got ice cream out the ice cream maker that was almost scoopable with the ice cream scoop. But now that the weather has gotten warmer and it's hot in the house, even with the air conditioner, it takes longer for my ice cream to get to the temperature that to this consistency that I like before it gets in the freezer, because I like to eat the ice cream as soon as I make it. I'm not trying to wait hours after it comes out of the freezer. So let it churn until it gets to a nice consistency for you to begin consuming it, even if it's soft serve.
Now, is this keto ice cream? Sabrina, I missed the first part. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's keto ice cream.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to be sharing the recipe, but I will probably not share it until Monday, because I want to make sure I have the exact ingredients and quantities for each of the 5 examples that I'm giving you.
Right.
And I just didn't have time to get that done today. So this is what I do. I test it. It's still warm, but I keep going. It's gotten a lot cooler though. Just keep stirring. So with the strawberry ice cream, Now I'm gonna taste it to make sure that I really do have enough strawberry extract in it. Taste the custard. Oh, yeah, that's very good. Okay, very, very good. But to look at it, you would not know it's strawberry ice cream. You can add food coloring to it, and you just need a little drop, for a pinkness. But I prefer not to. I prefer not to. So what I'm gonna do, Donna, I don't think you were on here when I showed that I found a recipe for roasting the strawberries before making the ice cream.
No.
So I cut the strawberries in half. I drizzled them with balsamic vinegar,
Hmm.
not a lot, just enough to coat the strawberry. This liquid is not from balsamic vinegar. That liquid is from strawberry juice.
Hmm.
And you put that in here. And when I made this before, it was really, it made it gourmet. It really made the ice cream gourmet strawberry ice cream. You would not be able to put your finger on what was different about it, but it's just really a nice thing.
You might
So-
need to package it.
but it wasn't my idea. I got the recipe from someone on YouTube. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so I'm
I
gonna let
do.
that.
So are you going to use an ice cream maker, or no, you don't need one since you put it in the ice bath?
No, absolutely, you need an ice cream maker. Absolutely. Okay. Now you could, let's say you don't have an ice cream maker and you don't want one. You could take this out, put it in the freezer, and every hour take it out, stir it up so that ice crystals don't form, put it back in the freezer. An hour later, stir it up. You'll notice it getting thicker and thicker over time. I have done that. So you can do that, but you have to go in every hour, maybe in the beginning, every 30 minutes, and just stir it up because you don't want ice crystals to form. But you can still get a creamy ice cream that way, but you got to keep doing it. Even once it's past soft serve, you got to go back in there and stir it up. So it's a lot of work if you don't have an ice cream machine, but you can do it. All right, so as that's continuing to cool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer my strawberries. Because I overcooked them, they stuck to my parchment paper, and that's not even supposed to happen, y'all. I'm gonna tell you what. Don't put parchment paper. The reason I put parchment paper down is because I said, oh no, I don't feel like washing this pan. I thought maybe the strawberries might stain the stone, and I was like, I don't want to wash the pan. So it would have been better if I hadn't put the parchment paper down, because the parchment paper absorbed all of my good liquid. So I'm mad at myself now. But anyway, so I'm just trying to cut it up a little bit.
Don't be mad at yourself. That just teaches us a lesson. We won't do it.
That's right. Now, if you didn't want to roast the strawberries because you're like, I'm not fooling with that, you can just dice up some strawberries. Just get you some strawberries and dice it up real small and put it in there. And you know, the piece I said was burned. I'm going to take a little piece of that off and see how it tastes. It is a little burned, that part. But not bad. Nope, the rest can go in the ice cream. Right. This is the only ice cream where I add the add-in before it goes in the ice cream maker. Every other ice cream, you want to add the add-in in the last 5 minutes. And why? I don't really know. I just know that when I saw this recipe, the girl added the strawberries in at this point. So I'm doing what she did. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, guys. So what will happen with this is that it will give the ice cream just the faintest blush of pink. It's very faint, you know. So we're just gonna let it all stir up. And you got strawberry pieces in there. Okay, so now I've talked about vanilla ice cream. I've talked about chocolate almond. We talked about the strawberry, and we talked about making cookies and cream. Okay, so you can also use this same base again without the strawberries or the strawberry extract, and you can make mint chocolate chip. So in place of the strawberry extract, you want to use a mint extract and some sugar-free chocolate chips. Now, the key with chocolate chip ice cream is you want the mini chocolate chips, not the big ones, okay? Or you can get you a sugar-free chocolate bar from what Lily's makes one, and I can't think of who else. And you can just shave it or cut it up to whatever size you want. You just don't want too big a piece of chocolate in your mint chocolate chip. Now, like I said, my favorite ice cream flavor is butter pecan. And making butter pecan is trickier than all the others. And for some reason, it doesn't set up as good in the ice cream maker as the others. It has to do most of its setting up in the freezer. But when you're making butter pecan, you don't start with the cream, you start with butter. And you put the butter in the pan and you go until you brown the butter. And you got to be real careful with that step too, because it's easy to go from brown butter to burned butter. It happens in an instant. Once you have the brown butter, then you go on and add the cream and everything else goes the same way. And then of course, you in another pan, you add more butter and you add your pecans, and you're going to toast your pecans in that butter, sprinkle it with just the littlest bit of salt. And if you like, you can give it a hint of cinnamon, and it will make the most amazing ice cream. That was the very first cooked custard ice cream I ever made, was butter pecan. I couldn't believe it. It was so good. I couldn't believe it. I like Haagen-Dazs butter pecan. I don't like the butter pecans that have maple in it. You know, some have maple. If you like the maple ones, you can add maple, but I never have liked those. And butter pecan, and years ago, there was a brand called Fruzenglage. Do you remember that? They made the best butter pecan, and this was so much like Fruzenglage. It's just amazing.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was a Swedish ice cream. Oh yeah, this is nice and cool now. This is ready to be refrigerated so that it can go in the ice cream maker. So let me tell you this. I am so impatient. When I make my ice cream, after I go through all this slow process of tempering the eggs and, you know, then cooling everything down, I'm like, I'm ready to eat the ice cream, you know? So I don't want to wait 12 hours for it to sit in the refrigerator and cool down. So what I started doing is from here, I take it and I put it in the freezer for 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour, never more than an hour. Because if you go more than an hour, it'll begin to freeze. And then I take it out and put it in the ice cream maker. So now while this is going in the refrigerator, or in my case, the freezer, the important step is you need to take some plastic wrap and you're going to cover your cream, because remember I said now that it's cooked, a skin will form on it. You don't want that skin to form. So you're going to take your plastic wrap and you're going to put it all the way down till it touches your custard. All right. It's going to cover it. It's going to act like a make-believe skin so that your custard doesn't have a chance to develop a skin. Okay. Try to get it all the way around, all the way to the edges. Okay. So at this point, you can put it in the refrigerator or in the freezer. In my case, I'm putting it in the freezer. In an hour, it's going to come out. So Donna and Karen, if you want ice cream, what time is it? 7:47, 8:30, it'll be ready.
Okay.
All right. So this is going in the, I just moved my light so that I can put this in the freezer. And I'm going to bring out the ice cream maker so that you can see it. All right, I'll be right back.
Hey, Karen and Glenda and Shanita.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I haven't made ice cream since I was a kid.
Me and the girls make it. I have an ice cream maker. I just wanted to see how she made it. I thought she was making it keto, but I have an ice cream maker. And so I wanted to see what she was doing because they said it was so delicious. Staley was eating it last night and it looked so good.
Mhm.
And it is keto, Donna, so you're good. I accidentally dropped my microphone, so let me know if you can't hear me. Now I gotta look for what in the world I did with the ice cream paddle. Okay, guys. Don't tell me I'm losing my mind. I'll find it. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there's an ice cream paddle that it's right on this part. I ate ice cream last night, so I washed the paddle and put it someplace really safe, which is why I can't find it now. This part is the ice cream maker that stays in the freezer. Okay, this is only running the motor, but it's not controlling the temperature here. So when you keep this in the freezer, it needs to be in the freezer 12 to 24 hours. My experience is that my refrigerator freezer doesn't get it cold enough, but my deep freezer does. So I keep this in the deep freezer at all times. I never take it out until I'm ready. That way I don't have to plan a day in advance. Oh, I want to make ice cream tomorrow. I better put the bowl in the freezer. I just keep it in the freezer. So then you just put the lid on. Oh, and it snaps in place. And when you plug it up, there's a power button and there's a timer. And the timer goes in 10-minute increments. All right. So I always start off at 30 minutes and then it'll start spinning. If my paddle was in there, you would see the paddle moving. Once it starts spinning, that's when you pour your cold custard in. And you just leave it and check on it like 25 minutes and see if your custard looks like it's ready. If it's thick enough for soft serve consistency. If it's not, add some more time. If it's ready, then go ahead and add your add-ins. If you're making a butter pecan, add your butter pecans. If you're making cookies and cream, add your cookies. If you're making chocolate almond, add your almonds, whatever your add-ins are. And the ice cream maker does the rest. So I wanted to show you what the finished product looked like. And so we've been in it, as you can see, but you can see how it's got the creaminess and the consistency you expect.
Looks delicious.
From ice cream.
That looks
And
good.
it scoops up really nicely. See? And it is totally delicious. So this is chocolate almond. You can see the almonds. You can see, I don't know, this is an almond.
That looks so good.
Guys, it is delicious. It's better than Baskin Robbins. It's just so good. And you can feel good about it because you know what's in it, you know? And you know, it's my husband's diabetic, so there's no sugar in here. He could eat it freely.
Okay.
And you really
What did
just
you put in it to
cannot
sweeten
be-
it? I didn't see that.
say that again.
What did you put in it to sweeten it? I didn't see that.
Okay, so this is what I use. This is my mix of xylitol and erythritol. So I'll show it to you in the bags that they come in.
Okay.
And I got both of these from Walmart. Oh, it's in the pantry. Let me get it.
I will have to try it because Doug doesn't believe anything tastes good without sugar, like ice cream.
Oh, no, no, you gotta get some ice cream tonight. Okay, so this is the erythritol. I get this right from Walmart. I haven't found it at the neighborhood Walmart, but I've seen it at the Walmart out on Elmsley. And this is the erythritol that I use, and it's pure. And if you look on the back, it says pure is a combination of erythritol and stevia. And when you mix these, you get a really great flavor that's almost indistinguishable from sugar. Now, regarding the xylitol, Donna, I was explaining earlier that xylitol is deadly to dogs, the way that chocolate is. So if, you know, I know you have a puppy. So if you use this, you don't want to drop any on the floor. If you drop any on the floor, sweep it up, you know, that kind of thing.
Wow. Okay.
I was also, here's another thing about these two sweeteners. If you sweeten your ice cream only with erythritol, it's going to freeze and it's going to be hard as a rock. Okay. It's not going to be creamy, smooth, scoopable. If you do it only with xylitol, it might not ever set up. So this mix, this blend of these two sweeteners works really good for ice cream texture. So I really like that about it. If you are doing sugar-free, you might be accustomed to using monk fruit. I really like monk fruit as a sweetener, but when you're using it for things that are cold, things that you dissolve and then make cold, it begins to crystallize. So it doesn't do well for ice cream.
Okay. I'm glad you told me that because that's what I have a lot of monk fruit.
Yeah, it does. It's not going to do well for ice cream. It didn't do well when I made the jam. As soon as the jam cooled off, when I used the monk fruit, it got crystals, big crystals all in. It was like crushed candy in there. It really felt like glass. And so I was also explaining that I always powder my sweeteners for keto baking because the sweetener doesn't dissolve as well as sugar does. So I wanted to let you know that the Pampered Chef ice cream maker it's really a great tool. And I am not doing this class to sell anything. It is really just an information class as a service to my customers who might enjoy making ice cream this summer and treating their family and friends to something truly decadent that they probably wouldn't make for themselves. However, if you don't have an ice cream maker, the Pampered Chef ice cream maker is one that I highly recommend. And during this customer appreciation event, I'm running a shared rewards party so that if you get the ice cream maker, it's going to be at a discount. Now, the way the shared rewards party works is the more orders there are, the greater the discount is. So right now the discount is at 2.5%. And some people are hesitant to order because they're like, well, we're not at 25% yet. Yeah, but if you go ahead and put your order in, we will be, or we should be. And if not, I will call everybody who orders and say, look, we didn't reach 25%, we reached this percent. Do you want to cancel your order? So you don't have to worry that you're going to get charged full price, because we'll only submit the order if we get up to 25%, because this is really a customer service that I'm trying to offer. And it's not about me making sales or making income. So this is $90, I believe, but with your 25% discount, it's going to get you somewhere around $70. So, and anybody who orders an ice cream maker or places any order, I'm going to send them a free ice cream scoop, okay? As my gift of appreciation. So does anybody have a question at all?
No, just can't wait to taste it.
Okay, any comments or feedback for me, what I can do to make it better?
Okay.
I'll just wait for the recipe on Monday.
Yes. Great job, Sabrina.
Okay, thank you so much. And I will definitely get the recipe in there by Monday.
Okay.
Are you in the ketogenic Pampered Chef group? Whoever said they were waiting until Monday?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let me see. Make sure you message me, send me a text reminding me to send you the recipe separately. Because
Okay.
I'm going to post it in the group, but if you're not in the group, message me, text me separately, and I will be sure to make sure that you have the recipe. You'll have the
Okay.
basic custard recipe and the suggested measurements for the other recipes that I mentioned.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Oh, you too, Sabrina. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that.
Sabrina.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
You
Thank
did
you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I can stop the recording.